Hi. We're going to look at developmental movements and these shapes that come up in a yoga practice and what they are and why developmental movements are so important for us to visit and play with as adults. So essentially what a developmental movement is, it's a movement that you made when you were developing, when you were a baby in the womb and you were an infant. And all our movement patterns we learn in our first few years of life. So the way that you learn to move before you're 5 really dictates the way that you move for the rest of your life. So the reason that we want to go over these movement patterns again as adults is that if in your development there was a disruption, so your learning was disrupted in some way through trauma, injury, all sorts of things can disrupt our learning these patterns. It will disrupt the nervous system. So when our movement patterns and our nervous system is disrupted, it's like disturbing the foundations, because how we learn to move is how we learn to be in ourselves and our bodies and how we think and feel about ourselves and the world. So if this is disrupted, if this bedrock foundation in us, our system is disrupted, then it's like we have an unstable foundation in our life. So it's really amazing the difference that this can make, that these learning, this kind of rolling, pushing, these old kind of forms of movement, very instinctive forms in our body, can affect your whole system. It can really have a very profound effect on mental health issues. And sometimes, as well as when we're developing, there can be this sense as parents that a quick developer, a baby that's quick to develop, is good, and they're very intelligent. But actually, the slower we take to develop, the more time we've got to really learn these patterns and build up a really resilient, strong, stable nervous system. So actually, if you learnt to walk very young, or if you didn't crawl, if there was a pattern that was missed out, what you can find as an adult is that you can be quite accident prone, struggle with balance, and all sorts of really interesting things can come up. So what's great is that we can go back and we can build that up again. So as an adult, you can actually go back and build up this bedrock, this foundation of support in yourself, which gives you a more of a sense of strength, of agency, of resilience, of confidence and wellness in yourself, which is pretty good, really. So let's go into it. And we're going to just kind of go through a whole flow, building up from very kind of fetal type movements to build it up to rolling and sitting up, and then some crawling as well. So I've got a blanket. I've got some yoga mats actually underneath me, just to make it more comfortable, and then a blanket spread out on top, because you're going to need that to be able to slide. So come down onto your blanket and just taking a moment, just lying here, feeling your body on the ground, feeling your back on the ground. And what we'll begin with is what's called a primal wave. So this is just really starting to feel a rocking in the body. So you can have your hands on your body or down by your sides. This is this rocking movement where your toes tap and you're rocking on your heels. What you're looking for this as a developmental movement is that there's very little effort, there's ease to the body. When you watch a baby learning and developing, they look for the easiest route, the route of least resistance, the way that their body naturally moves and flows. And one of the ways that you do this is you use the ground. So it's very much about pushing into the ground, working with the ground, because the more you push, yield, press into the ground, the more spring, lightness, energy, and strength your body develops. So just a couple more of those, and building that up so you feel like it's like almost that you're being moved. It's not like you're doing this. It's just this kind of rocking that really eases tension. And this helps to really establish a flow of energy all the way down through the body in the energy channels and in the connective tissue. It's really good for fascia. So another breath there. And then just pause and feel, you should feel a kind of a tingle, a hum, maybe some warmth in the body from that. And then do the same thing but with the knees bent, so feet on the floor and just kind of rocking. So although a lot of these shapes have a sort of a nod towards yoga shapes, they're much more abstract, they're much more kind of gentle, and the movements are sort of very rolling, rocking, easy, gentle movements. So we're not trying to create stretch or strength anyway, you're trying to create a feeling of real ease in the body. So just pushing on the feet there, so till you get this sort of shunting, nudging up the body, feeling there. And then take a breath and see how your body feels there. So then slide the left leg down, keep the right knee bent, and then bring your right arm out to the side and roll over onto the left side till your right hip lifts. And what I want you to do is do that by pushing the right foot. So if you push the right foot, you'll feel the right hip will lift more easily. So although you're rolling onto the side, the emphasis, the focus is on the right foot pushing to give you the momentum to roll. And do the same again, a push and release back and push. And then do the same thing but with your right arm up beside your head by your ear and push. And as you push, see if you can feel the right shoulder lift and then drop down. And that's all coming because the right foot is pushing. If you don't push the right foot, you have to use effort in the rest of the body, and that's not what we want. We want the foot to do the pushing and pushing. So what we're starting to get into here is this being able to roll over movement. When you were a baby, you didn't have upper body strength. If you think, before you learned to sit up and hold things and kind of crawl, you didn't have really much upper body strength. So your strength came from your legs much more than your upper body. And as adults, we tend to rely more on our upper body strength. So just using the legs and waking up the legs here. Okay, and then release the right leg, release the right arm, take a breath or two there. And then the same on the other side. So left foot bent, left arm out to the side, and then push the left foot to feel the left hip lift. So push the left foot, and it's this kind of push down. So you're pushing against the ground to create this lift and lowering, rolling, and down, and then rolling. And looking for the most easy route there. Bring the left arm up and then roll. And this time as you push and you roll, you feel the shoulder start to come up, and you can play with that and drop it back down, roll it up, drop it back down. And really don't try and lift your upper body by itself. It's coming because you're pushing your foot and it kind of rolls you over. That's it. And then slide the leg down, drop your arms, take a moment, just see how you're feeling. So really important to regularly just tune in as we go through this to check in how your body's feeling. And that starts to lay down the synapses, the connections in the nervous system. So this is where you start to kind of lay down the foundations of support in the nervous system through the resting, through the moments of stillness. Okay, so now both feet on the ground, both knees bent. And just do that same thing, but with both knees bent. So you're going to push the right foot and let both knees roll to the left. And then push the left foot and let both knees roll to the right. So what happens is the foot pushes the knees over. And you'll feel that it's just kind of the lower body. The upper body gets pulled a bit, but it's very much the lower body. And you really feel your big toes, the whole of the foot pushing. If you find you're sliding on your blanket and you can't get grip on the blanket, then you can just pull it out the way for now and do this with just the mat just under your feet, and do that again, okay? And then do the same thing with your arms up by your head. So you're pushing the feet, and as you push, let the knees go down and see, like you did it, just do a few times on this side, just push the foot and let your shoulder roll. So as you push your foot, you're letting your upper body come over as well. and then go the other way. So push the other foot and see if you can let your upper body come with you. So the whole body works in flow, in a system of rolling. So the foot pushes and you roll, and the foot pushes and rolls. And then see if you can go all the way onto your side, so you flop. And what you'll feel is that your elbows go side to side, your elbows kind of roll over as well. I'm lifting my head occasionally just so that I don't disturb the mic, but let your head roll. So leave your head on the ground and let it roll, and see if you can keep pushing and just roll yourself from side to side and get to the point where it feels like almost you don't know what's doing this. So your body is just kind of rolling with very little effort. Rolling. Okay, and then when you come to your side, stay there. So just roll on to either side and just flop there on your side for a moment. Then take the top arm and top leg, extend them away so you get a stretching extension, and then exhale, curl your arm and leg in so you're kind of curling into a fetal shape. So this we're going kind of back a little bit in terms of development and going into more fetal shapes, which are also considered as evolutionary shapes in the body. So reaching, and these can really help the spine to find strength and support very naturally. Exhaling. And then see if you can do this with both arms and both legs. So on the inhale, you stretch both arms, both legs. And then on the exhale, can you curl yourself in like a ball, like a little fetal shape, and then inhale. And when you were a tiny little baby in the womb, you were like a fish almost, kind of curling and stretching. And these were the first movements of stretching out and curling before you got so big that you had to kind of just stay in that fetal shape. So it was possible for you to make lots of stretchy movements. Curling there, extending your arms, bringing the legs in. And again, stretching out, stretching, and then fall onto your back as you exhale. So let's do that again, rolling onto your side, curling in on the exhale. Inhaling, stretching out your body on the inhale, and then flopping onto your back. And then curling your body in, inhaling, and stretching out your body, and then exhale, flop. So do this so you're contracting on the inhale. At the end of the inhale, you're stretching, and then on the exhale, you're flopping. And do another one of those. So you're curling in, stretching out, and then falling onto your back, flop. And try that on the other side, so rolling over, curling in. And what you're trying to do is get a contraction, a stretch, and then as you fall onto your back, it's kind of messy. You're trying not to be too organized and neat about it. You're just letting your body collapse, curl, move on your breath. If you want to find a different breath pattern that works for you, go for it. But just essentially contracting, stretching, and flopping. Take a few moments there, just feeling your body. Let your head relax. Notice how your body feels after those shapes. And then from here, let's try another rolling movement. So just settle yourself back onto your blanket with your arms wide out and your legs wide apart. You need a bit of space, so just check there's no kind of glass coffee table right beside you there, that you've got good space around you, because this is a little bit bigger, this one. So you bring your right leg up and you swing your right leg over your left leg. And keep your upper body relaxed, but reach the arms up a bit, and then reach the right leg and keep reaching and reaching. What you're going to do is reach so much that you fall onto your front. And then take the right leg away over behind your back and make a really long line of reaching and stretching, and keep pulling the right leg until you get pulled and rolled and flopped onto your back. And we're really looking at it being very floppy. So take the right leg again and sweep it over your left leg. Keep reaching it until you get dragged and flopped onto your front. And then the right leg again behind you. And flop. And then do that with the left leg. So reach the left leg over and reach. And it won't work if you use your arms. So you have to use the leg, reach, create momentum with the leg, and then flop onto your front. And then take the left leg up behind you and really reach it over as far as you can until it pulls you over. Do the same on that side. So left leg reaching, and flopping. And then back again. And again, I'm holding my head up, but you can let the head flop, reach, and flop. And go from side to side here. So you could take the right leg over and go to that side, rolling. And then you can go back again, reaching, letting the head flop, the arms flop. And then over to the other side, reaching and flopping. And so important that we learn how to use the energy and also learn how to let go, flop. So take a moment flopping there, just let your body rest, see how that feels in your system. So from here, just settle yourself back into your mat position, so you've got space around you again. And then bend the knees, and we're going to play with some rolling over to come up to sitting. So bring your knees in and just try rolling from side to side with your knees up by your chest. So you're just rolling and let your hands come into your chest. So your hands and feet are kind of folding over. And then as you roll over, can you push onto the ground with your hands to come up? And then go down and fall onto your back and roll the other way so the knees go over. Then the hands push quite close to the chest and the shoulders to bring you up. And then you roll down onto your back. So the legs go down first, they give a little push, feet give a push, hands give a push, and you roll up. And then you fall down and just play with that rolling over. And then you might be able to actually not even use the hands, so you're kind of pushing off the back and the legs so you can kind of roll up. And try and use as much of a rolling pattern as you can, rather than relying on kind of sitting up with the upper body. So you're rolling and rolling. And try a couple of those. And then next time you come up, roll up, and then can you push up onto all fours? So roll over, and then push up onto all fours. So roll onto your back, and then push up, and roll over. And you might find one side is easier to get than the other. And roll over, push up. This time come all the way up onto all fours. And then just from here, tuck your toes, and then rock back and forward. And you can really see the patterns, the kind of ways that we were as babies. And these all come up in yoga, but because they're packaged for adults, we sort of feel like, oh, well, I'm not doing baby shapes. But baby shapes are really important for our nervous system. It's really good. So you're just rocking on your toes, feeling that rocking. And then you can slide one leg back and give it a little stretch there. And then slide the other leg, give it a little stretch. And then from here, rocking back, and then slide one knee forward as far as you can, and go back, and then slide the other knee forward. Back and forward, sliding, and sliding. And then crawling. And just explore going backwards and forwards on your mat. And notice, like watch. So what should happen is the opposite limbs should move, but they don't move exactly in time. It's like there's this sort of slight staggering, going backwards and forwards. And another little crawl, just observing, being curious and really tuning into what your body is doing as you crawl. And crawling, and then lie down on your tummy, just kind of flop down. Bring your hands out, and then push into the pubic bone, push into the hands, and just kind of roll up and down and roll up. And see if you can not just use the hands. So the hands are pushing a bit, but it's also the pubic bone that pushes down. And what's amazing, babies just instinctively, naturally know where to put their energy, where to resist against, what to push into to give them the strength that they need. So one more there. And then a little bit of coordination here. So as you come up, look over your right shoulder and lift your left foot, so the opposite foot, and see if you can see over your back. And then go down. And then as you come up, look over the left shoulder and see if you can lift. You can do this leaning onto one elbow. So you can lean onto your left elbow, look over the right shoulder for the opposite foot, left foot. This is a real coordination exercise. And you're trying to lift your chest and look right over. So you're not kind of looking underneath yourself there. You're looking right up over the back. So if I'm leaning into my right elbow, I push into my left hand and then look over the left shoulder and bend the right knee so the opposite foot comes in. And the other side, lean into the left elbow, push into the right hand, look over the shoulder, opposite foot comes in. So you might need to pause this and do this a few times to get this one. If you can't work it out, it does take a little bit of practice. Moving on the breath up. And then exhale and stroke the nose on the ground and come up. And see if you can find the right position for your hands so that you get this nice fluid sequence happening of rolling and twisting. That's it. And then have a rest. Rest your head on your hands or just turn your head to the side. Take a few moments just lying on your tummy, letting that all kind of process through your nervous system. And you can stay with that. Stay on your tummy for a bit longer. You can roll onto your back, lie in Shavasana for a bit. So, interesting stuff and worthy of playing with, coming back to lots and just noticing where those shapes appear in your yoga practice as well and really exploring them, giving them lots of attention and lots of respect as well. Well done. Take care. I'll see you again soon.